People trying to say I'm only enemy. Got a code with my dogs, can get in between. I can give them life, no more energy. Amen. Amen.
The Cavs comeback starts today. Welcome in, everybody. We got two great games to talk about that we're looking forward to. We got the Cavs and Pacers game 3, and we got the Nuggets and Thunder game 3. And there's a lot to talk about. Honestly, this is one of the videos I've looked forward to the most in the playoffs, just because I feel like there's a lot that's not being talked about that we can share with you guys. So I'm excited to get into it. But JJ, how are we feeling going into these games?
I think Cavs and Pacers should be a good one. It sounds like all those injured players are getting ready to come back. And, Thunders and Nuggets, hopefully the Nuggets play more physical because obviously they was getting bullied and they realized it in the post-game conference and all that. So, we'll see if they bring the intensity tonight.
Oh, yeah. So we can just go ahead and get this thing going. We'll talk about the Cavs game first. And I got a lot of things to talk about, so I'll go one by one. And the first thing JJ already mentioned a little bit, they're looking like they're finally getting healthy again. And I say healthy loosely because it's going to be guys playing through injuries. But DeAndre Hunter, apparently the swelling in his wrist is down, and I can't remember if it was his wrist or thumb, but something was dislocated. It looks like it's good now. He's probably thumb. There we go. So his thumb should be good now. I'm not sure like what his touch is like with the ball, but I'm pretty certain he's going to play and play his normal minutes. Next up, we got Garland. They've already announced that he's expected to play. It's a big toe injury. Think like a turf toe in football. So I think it will limit him, but he will be out there, and they've definitely missed him. Even if he's not like cutting to the basket and getting 25 points with floaters and stuff, just having his composure and like his court vision on there, I think it's going to calm the team down a lot, and it's not just going to be Donovan Mitchell hero ball like we've been seeing. And the third one is Evan Mobley, who they said they're looking for him to play. They're going to try to get him to play. I think he's the one I'm the least optimistic about because there was a report yesterday that while he was at Cavs practice, he was doing standstill shooting, but they had yet to see him run on that ankle and I guess it was the first day that he had actual pressure put on that ankle. So I'm not sure what the case was today. I know he was at shoot around, but I don't know what he did at shoot around. I didn't hear much about it. So JJ, how does this injury news, one, how do you think it affects this game? Two, who do you think all three of them play? Or are you seeing things differently? How are you reading all this?
If he's not running on that ankle yet, I think you got to expect 2 out of 3 at least right now. I think Garland can significantly help the offense here. They're going to be doing a lot of switching, so they may hunt him on defense, but Jared Allen's already getting hunted, so it doesn't really matter there. But
which brings go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, I think offensively, like he's gonna try and get downhill. I think it's probably gonna be a lot of kick and drive type of game from him. I don't know how much scoring he's gonna be able to do, but I think he'll have to score at least double digits.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting a ton of usage from him. I think Donovan Mitchell still got to carry the load. He's done an excellent job getting downhill, scoring in the paint, and Pacers haven't been able to stop it. So him and Ty Jerome are going to have to continue to do that. I know Ty Jerome missed a bunch of shots last game, but, all the looks that he was typically making, he just happened to miss. He was just a little bit short on his floaters and layups and all that. So that's his bread and butter. I expect him to rebound here.
And I will say, like, seeing him talk about it in post game, like sometimes you see players be like, "Oh, they're playing more physical than I expected. Oh, I'm like rushing." He's as confident as ever. He's like, "Hey, sometimes a shot miss, but I'm getting to the shots I want." So I'm pretty confident we get a Ty Jerome bounce back today. As far as Garland goes, his points line is at 14.5. So yeah, they definitely are going to need double digits from him. But as far as the switching that you mentioned, one thing that I found interesting from a Cavs beat reporter is he said he overheard Kenny Atkinson, an assistant coach, talking about going less switching and more of a hedge and recover approach in the pick and roll, which means those times where we see Jared Allen getting switched on to Halliburton, it's going to be less of that, and he's going to show more, let Strus or Okoro or whoever his primary defender is get back in position, and then Allen's going to slide back on to Turner. This is going to be a big change, something I don't think we've seen from the Cavs in a game against the Pacers. So that's going to be something that's fresh and we're going to get to see for the first time. But it also provides a decent edge from a betting perspective if you know what to look at, because now Allen, instead of being stretched out defending Halliburton at the perimeter, Now he's back in rebounding position. Now, instead of Halliburton getting the switch and getting the ISO against whoever he wants, now he's getting stopped and they're forcing him to pass it to Miles Turner or Neesmith or whoever's setting the screen or Siakam. So it does provide, I think, a big change in the Pacers' offensive game plan, along with what we saw in game 2, where the Cavs just face guarded Halliburton for 94 feet. They did not want to bring the ball up. They didn't want him running a pick and roll. Shout out Caitlin Cooper. She does a lot of work writing about the Pacers, but she pointed out that even the screen usage for Halliburton went down significantly. I can't remember if I'm remembering the numbers exactly correctly, but I think Nemhard got 32 screen set for him throughout the game. Halliburton was in the teens, like 14 or 18 or something like that. That's very rare. And it was reflecting the touches as well. Halliburton was in the 70s. Nemhard was in the 90s. Usually Halliburton is in the 90s and hundreds. So that's a big change. And it'll be interesting to see if the Pacers work to get Halliburton the ball more, and that's going to expend more energy for him, obviously. Or if they just say, okay, if you're going to give us 4v4 on the other end and give us more space, then we'll take it, and they run it through Nemhard. That's kind of what they did in game 2, but obviously they weren't ready for that adjustment. So I'm curious to see what they do in game 3. What are you expecting there?
I think to counter that hedge that they most likely see. I mean, even with the pick and roll defense in general in game 2, you saw them run a lot of high pick and roll, and that high pick and roll can counter that hedge. So you gotta think Miles Turner is probably going to set up for a lot of pick and pop looks. Even if he doesn't take a three off the short roll when they get that hedge, probably going to hit the corners because they're going to have to collapse from that help defense right there, like in the dunker spot in the corner. So it's going to set up like probably some Neesmith threes. I think probably Andrew Nemhard, he's going to have to continue to get aggressive here. He's been looking for a shot, and I'm glad he's been looking for that mid range and trying to get to the rim. He already loves getting to the rim, but obviously, even though he didn't hit any threes last game, he still scored 13 points. Obviously, the Halliburton's gonna be off ball because they're face guarding him. So, I mean, everything's gonna have to go through Nemhard. 19 potential assists, 73 passes. So, could be another good look for a potential double-double here from Nemhard.
100% agree. I think it's really just going to be a matter of what the Pacers want to do, because like I said, if they just run back what they did last game and just hope they have more of an efficient game plan for Nemhard to do so, Nemhard's going to go crazy in the facilitating work. I think he had 8 turnovers last game along with a bunch of assists. You just said 19 potential assists. So the usage is absolutely there. He's going to be more ready for it. I don't think I've ever seen as many traveling violations called in a game as I did against the Pacers, at least in the first half last game. Don't expect that as well, of course. But it just goes to show that if you really take Halliburton out the game for them, who's obviously the engine of that offense, and just try and stick like a Nemhard in that Halliburton role, not everybody can play the Halliburton role. Like, Halliburton is a very unique player. He's not just in a good offense. He is the reason the offense is very good. But the Pacers, they're one of the more deeper and pass happy teams in the NBA. If any team's going to figure it out, it's probably going to be them.
Yeah.
What else can we talk about in that one? I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think Pacers continue to play with pace.
Yep.
And that's how Halliburton can force those switches that he wants. Like, I know a couple times they forced Jared Allen on him just because they're playing fast. They have to go match up. So cross matching, great example there. Expect a little bit more of that probably as well. Try to get Halliburton going.
It's going to be, I think, the most interesting thing for me, just thinking about what we've seen the last 2 games and this coming game, is the Cavs have shot very poorly and had some absolute disaster collapses along with injuries through 2 games, and they've lost by a combined total of 10 points. But at the same time, I don't think that, like, some people are saying, oh, the Cavs are going to break through and we have to worry about a blowout in this one. No, we don't. If the Cavs won, the Pacers, if the game's been 30 points, the Pacers are in the game. 2, the Cavs just gave up a 7-point lead in 40 seconds and lost the game. Unless they're up by 50 going into the fourth quarter, which I can tell you as a Cavs fan, it's not going to happen. There's no blowout. You're watching the game until it's triple zeros on the clock.
Yep.
So I do think this is going to be a lot of entertainment coming. Next game.
Let's do it.
All right, so the next game we got the Thunder and Nuggets. The Thunder just won Game 2 by 43 points after they had their own collapse in Game 1 against the Nuggets. So the series is tied 1-1 going back to Denver. We know about the home court advantage of the Mile High City, but we also know how good the Thunder are. Are we going to bet more on how good the Thunder are or the championship experience of the Nuggets here?
I think you got to bet on how good the Thunder are. I mean, they're getting exactly the matchups they want. I remember game one, Chet got in foul trouble, so kind of couldn't do what he wanted to do. But, they put him back on Aaron Gordon in game two and dominated the boards. He was that great help defender that you want him to be because he's great at roaming and trying to get blocks, just to tier shots, even if he's not getting blocks. I noticed the Nuggets went into that zone defense. I don't expect them to run a whole lot of that because it kept getting torched. It kept giving up threes. That's how Shea was getting his assists. I mean, whoever Nikola Jokic is going to be on, they're probably going to get a lot of open threes. But I mean, mainly he's going to be on Isaiah Hartenstein, obviously. But when Isaiah Hartenstein is not on the floor, probably going to go with some open threes. Like he was defending Lou Dort as well. I think he had like three-point attempts versus him. And I mean, the problem with that is, Jokic is trying to help at the nail to stop SGA drive. So threes are going to be given up.
Dude, Jokic isn't even like trying to hide it. Like obviously they don't want Shea driving the basket and he's helping at the nail, like you're saying. But it's not like he's on Dort, then he's sliding over to Show and they're rotating around him. He's just standing at the free throw line and basically saying, "Hey Shea, I dare you to pass it to him."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Lou Dort is like a 41% 3-point shooter, 43%. I don't remember the number. So like maybe not the best plan, but that's also why OKC's so good because if it's not Lou Dort, I mean, it's who is it going to be? Jalen Williams, Chet, like they can all shoot. So it's
even both Jalen's.
Yeah. So it's an interesting game plan against an OKC team, but you got to kind of pick your poison with them. We saw in game one, they tried to match their pace, caught the Thunder off guard a little bit. They were able to run with them. Didn't happen in game two. In game two, Thunder were ready for it. Pace and transition is their bread and butter, and they very much should. I think they outscored them in transition points like 26-5, something ridiculous. So Denver probably shouldn't try that again if I was them, but maybe they just try and run back the same game one plan and make some tweaks. I couldn't tell you what they're going to do. Obviously, their coach is a pretty new coach. I don't know what his tendencies are for situations like this. But if I'm him, we're going back to that Jokic Murray two-man game. I think it's really that simple. It's the best two-man game in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't think it's particularly close. And you're the only one that can do that. So I don't know. Like it makes your job a lot easier instead of trying to figure out these game plans. Just say, hey, Jokic, you can pass, you can shoot, you can post up. We're just gonna rely on you to beat Nikola Jokic. And it sounds pretty square to say, but against an OKC defense that really has an answer for everything defensively outside of maybe that. Like Braun's not scoring an ISO. Michael Porter Jr. is getting clamped the second he touches the ball. Aaron Gordon doesn't have an aggression matchup again or a positive matchup in terms of aggressiveness against Chet. Jamal Murray gets Lou Dort. Like you don't really have other options.
Yeah. It's like Aaron Gordon's really like your last hope here.
Yeah.
I mean, shooting 3 of 12 is just not going to cut it.
No, definitely not. So OKC should take care of business again. It's for me, it's really like it's gonna take OKC imploding in some way, and then the only way for the Nuggets like championship experience and playoff experience to come into play is knowing how to take advantage of those implosions and those mistakes. But if we're just talking 48 minutes of basketball, OKC's head and shoulders above them. So I don't think we should be overcomplicating it. And if OKC implodes, it happens. It's a 7-game series for a reason. So the best team, it's the reason. Like March Madness is meant for the madness. You want the underdogs to have that one-off game that they go off in college basketball or in NFL. In NBA, it's a 7-game series because they want the best team to go through. There will be fluky games here and there, but beating a team that's better than you 4 times is very difficult. So Thunder should be winning this series. I think everybody can agree with that. So unless something drastic happens or a big game plan that we can anticipate, they should be able to take this one and the next one. Let's get into the parlays.
Let's do it.
All right, so we got 2 for you today because I'm in Ohio, which means I get a Cavs boost. And then there's also the general NBA boost that they've been giving out daily for the playoffs. So let's get into them. The Cavs one. Cavs money line. Again, everybody's looking healthy. I can't remember what the system is, but game 3 favorites do really well. They should be able to steal one back here. And combine that with Ty Jerome over 11.5 points. We've talked about the shots that he's been getting. They are his shots. They're the shots that he wants, or the shots we know him to be a 6-man of the year candidate for taking. They just haven't been falling. But 11.5 points, we can buy low on it, especially with, I know Garland and Mobley and all of them are coming back today, but all it does is push Jerome back into the traditional 6-man role in a situation where Garland and Mobley and DeAndre Hunter, they're not 100%. So he might have to handle the load a little bit more than you would think when he is in the game with any of those guys. And lastly, Andrew Nembhard, 6+ assists. They're face guarding Hallie for 94 feet, and it's forcing Nembhard to play more of the traditional point guard role, getting into a lot more pick and roll actions. And with the Cavs potentially switching to more of a hedge and recover scenario, it'll open up a lot of potential assists for him once again. With the 25% Ohio boost, I guess is what we can call it, that turns out to plus 465. So make sure you lock that in. I'll put the link below in the description so you guys can just tail it with a quick click. And for the Thunder game, we get a 50% boost. We're taking Thunder minus 5.5. Again, we're not going to overcomplicate it. They're the better team. The only way we expect to lose that one is if something unpredictable happens. Next up, we got Chet, 8+ rebounds. He's the low man now. He's back to defending Aaron Gordon. He had 21 rebound chances in 3 quarters last game. 8 rebounds shouldn't be a problem. And lastly, Nikola Jokic, 2+ threes. He's had 4+ 3-point attempts in pretty much every game in these playoffs. In the first round, it was Zubac. He didn't want to step up to him in the perimeter, and he was defending him on an island. So Jokic was chucking threes. And this one, it's Hartenstein. Hartenstein's not letting him shoot, but he's definitely giving him the space to shoot. And in a scenario where everybody else is kind of getting locked down and the Thunder love to swarm the paint, he should look to shoot a little bit here. So all that together, plus 593 with the boost, plus 396 without. Make sure you go ahead and lock those in. Otherwise, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you haven't already, because you won't want to miss the next video. We're going to get hot. You won't want to miss it. It's going to start today. We got 2 parlays. Usually we only have 1. Today we have 2. I think that means we're going to go crazy. So let's go crazy. Let's make some money, and let's make some money in future days. Again, like, subscribe if you haven't already. We will see you guys on the next show. Take care.